Sure, abuti honestly.
The issues, responses.
Thank you, Minister. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, NDP.
Thank you, Minister. So, Minister, there haven't been many questions for the NPA, but I'd just like to address issues raised by Honorable Numbalo and as well as Honorable, Moshlala, I think it was. Just to say that the NPA, the question was asked whether we are doing a fantastic job. And I'd like to say that the NPA is, in fact, doing a fantastic job. If we look, and I think we will, not I think, we will be coming to Parliament to present on our annual performance. And so we'll give a lot of details then. But just at a very high level, to say that if you look at our performance for the past about 4 years has increased on all our indicators from about 50% to now standing between 75 and 80%. That is on general performance of the NPA. If you look at the asset forfeiture in terms of our freezing, in terms of the recoveries, since the asset forfeiture unit was set up in 2000, close to 45 to 50% of all freezing orders, all recoveries, deposits into KARA have been done in the past 4 years. That is close between 45 and 48% of all recoveries done, freezing orders, over the entire 25 years of the asset forfeiture existence, the unit's existence. Also, a lot of this has been helped because of our very innovative and ambitious strategies to deal with asset recovery. In addition, we are doing exceptionally good work, notwithstanding the Omotozo decision, which we've reported to Parliament on, but exceptionally good work in dealing with sexual and gender-based violence issues in the NPA. The Tutuzela care centers, we can talk about the support that we give to victims, the communications, our conviction rates have all gone up with relation to sexual and gender-based violence issues. And this is why I'm just giving a few high-level indicators in terms of why the NPA is in fact doing a really good job. In respect of the strategic initiatives, well, before I go to that, the TRC matters, and Minister, I won't be long. With regard to the TRC matters, which the Minister touched on, the work of the missing persons task team in the NPA has been exceptional, and we will fully support the commission of inquiry that the President is setting up. With regard to the strategic initiatives, we've been innovative in various ways in the NPA. We've also, because of the fact that our crime rates are so high and that we're never going to be able to deal with all crimes, we've embarked on a prioritization project in order to deal with your serial rapists with regard to gender-based violence, in order to look at stock theft in areas, in the rural areas where this is a serious offense, and looking at housebreaking in KwaZulu-Natal, which has shown really good results. So, and I agree, and I concede, there have been about 10 to 12 cases that the NPA has come in for a lot of flack on, and all of those cases. But if one looks at the New Lane matter, which just last week was overturned by the Supreme Court of Appeal, that was the first state capture matter where the NPA, the national director, were seriously criticized. And although that matter, yes, has still got to go to trial, there's got to be a retrial, but what the Supreme Court of Appeal decision does, it vindicates the NPA and the prosecutors in this matter, because the court agreed with our view. So the point I make is that there are legal processes, and I urge that we consider these cases individually and look at where is the actual problem. And once we understand the actual problem, then we can only make sure we put in place solutions that address the problem. And there are huge systemic problems in the criminal justice system. And so as the national director, I would welcome some kind of commission that looks into systemic issues about the high crime rates. What are we not doing right? What is the problems in the system? Because there are huge challenges within the NPA, within the police, within the court system that we need to address in order to get to the bottom of crime. Try to address the crime problem in our country. So I want to say that as the national director, I will not be stepping down because I believe that we are doing a really good job. And I will continue with my really good team to serve only the people of this country as we have been, and particularly the victims of crime.
Point of
And
order.
the one other matter, the
May I
one
please?
last,
Order, Chairperson.
NTPP, can you hold on? Honorable
Sure.
Mshala.
No, thanks so much, Chairperson, for the opportunity. The NDPP is misleading the House. Is the NDPP who went to the media and said that the NDPP is infiltrated? So how can she dare come here today and tell us he's doing very well when she told us herself? No one forced her to speak there. She went to that platform. She told the whole country that the NDPP, the NPA is infiltrated. So she must not come here and mislead this House. Thank you so much. She's misleading us now. She's abusing us. Thank you.
Honorable Mshala, that is a point of discussion, but I think let's attend to it. Remember, there are two pending sessions we have with NPA, which is on the extradition issues, which the NTPP made those remarks when she was responding to an extradition matter. The second, she has just said now that they are still coming before Parliament to report on annual performance. So can you park it like that? It's a point of discussion. Proceed, NTPP.
Chair, I'm about to wrap up. I was on the last point, but I do want to make the point, Chair, is that I will never mislead this House. My integrity is really important, and I will always be fair and honest. There are some things that we may not be able to speak about, but I will try to always be transparent and share whatever I can with the people of this country. And the final point, Chair, is on the Lotteries Commission. We will respond in writing. That was Honorable Klopper that raised that. We will respond in writing. But to say that we are, in fact, before Scopa on tomorrow to deal with all of the SIU referrals to the NPA, and the DPCI is also in that meeting tomorrow with the SIU. So we're all appearing before Scopa. But I do want to make, there was a point that Honorable Klopper mentioned about SIU handing...
Chair.
Hold on, NTPP. Honorable Nomvalo, is that a point of
Chair,
order?
I don't mean to disrespect you. My hand has been up for the past 1 minute, but I can notice that maybe you could not notice it.
Okay.
Chairperson, I think we just need to discourage the propensity of telling lies in this committee. Chairperson, we just want to put it on record that we view what is being said here by the NDPP as lies. She is misleading this committee. It must be on the record. Even if she will come back, we'll repeat the same thing. What has been said here by Honorable Mhlala is true. He is misleading this committee, and we must nip lies in the bud. We just wanted to make that statement. She can continue doing so because she has the platform, but we are not going to be blinded by her lies. She's lying to this committee. She said there's infiltration in the NPA, and that's it.
That's noted, Honorable Nomvalo. It's a point of discussion as well. I think also what will be a proof to what is being submitted is the detailed report on the performance of the NPA that they are still going to come and present. I think we can be able to weigh the actual truthfulness or non-truthfulness when we receive that detailed report. Thank you very much. Honorable NTPP, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. We will we look forward to be given that opportunity to give that level of detail. And finally, on the Lotteries Commission, which I was dealing with, Honorable Klopper, I don't have the words he mentioned, but it seemed to suggest that the SIU gives the NPA prosecution-ready cases. And I want to make the point that the SIU refers in terms of their act to the NPA. But for the IDAC, which was recently established, the NPA does not investigate. And these matters are then transmitted to the DPCI, who investigates those matters and sends them back to the NPA to make decisions on them. And we will present statistics to Scopa tomorrow about the percentage of matters that are proceeded with and declined, etc. But I just wanted to make the point that, they are referred to the DPCI, and these cases are certainly not ready for criminal investigations. I'll leave it at that, and we will provide further information in writing, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, NTPP. Minister, it's back to you.
Thank you, DJ. Anything from your side so that we close, and then I can close the wrap up.
Thank you very much, Minister and Chair. Just two quick issues. The first being the review application by the former acting Solicitor General. The matter has not been set down yet, but I must mention that there's nothing that's standing on the way of the department from running a recruitment process and fill that post, because the contract expired, so we're dealing with it as such. There was an urgent application that had an effect of an interdict, which was thrown out by the court. So I just wanted to reassure the committee that the review application doesn't in any way stand on the way of the department filling the post. Secondly, Honorable Swartz, the issue of departments pay, we have a big challenge of the agency account because we brief council and we pay council from the budget of the department, waiting for the departments to pay back. So there's a historic issue there, which over the years, there has been this perennial challenge of non-payment, which is a big amount. And of course, when we raise it now, the people who were dealing with these matters back in the past are no longer there. And there's also this tendency of disputing invoices from a client's department. So sometimes even when council complain about not being paid, what they don't factor is that the same departments that they represented are they themselves not coming forward to acknowledge the invoices, which then is a problem. It looks like it's the department that is not paying. The department can go ahead and pay, but then we sit with a huge overdraft. We are working around it, particularly with the South African Police, because they are together with the Department of Health, they're the biggest clients with a large amount of money that has to be sorted out. And maybe just in passing, Honorable Novala, not in passing, but maybe just to mention that the turnaround of the state attendance, indeed last year, the committee and yourself in particular did raise the proposals. We have not thrown away those proposals. We did openly say, I think they were progressive and constructive, but because here we're not presenting the turnaround plan, we're presenting the strategic plan, so we couldn't delve into the details, including the proposals that you made of comparison with the road accident fund. We found some of those to be very helpful that will be included in the turnaround plan. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm going to respond, but if there's gaps, I'll ask the DM to come in. I do have questions and answer session in the NCOP from 2:00, in case, because I'm worried about the time. So that's why I'm doing an unconventional method of coming before the DM so that I can be ready for the question and log into NCOP. Maybe just broadly, and I said that I'll deal with the issues that relates to OCJ, mainly on the courts tomorrow. But just to indicate, we had a meeting that looked at infrastructure, that looked at human capital, that looked at security, that looked at all the services in terms of the courts and part of what we need to do. One of the issues around infrastructure, and I picked up that all members raised it, is that In the bidding to National Treasury, we had made a bidding of 1.6 billion for the infrastructure needs across, with a target of about 539 projects. Out of those, National Treasury gave us 400 million, which we are short of 1.2 billion to respond to the challenges. And in the conversations between ourselves and the judiciary, there was an acknowledgement that we need to work on this. But secondly, the issue around public works capacity to be able to respond to the challenges. For example, being able to complete projects on time was brought to the fore, and the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure committed that they've put together panels that will be able to respond, and ourselves as well having to pay attention to the R&R, repair, maintenance and replacement. Which is quite important. So the infrastructure part is being looked at. The increase that we have is only on OCJ. That's why I'm going to talk to it tomorrow as well as we present the budget. Security infrastructure as well, there's gaps. We have been able to quantify. Perhaps what we can do, we might add one slide that reflects on those issues. To say, in terms of our costs, this is what we are having, manpower versus what we need, and the shortfall in that regard. So this is the conversation that we are currently having with the finance minister. So the door has not been closed for us, especially in relation to the courts. I thought I should reflect that, and we'll deal with that in detail. Chair, as DG said, the turnaround of masters, and in terms of our attorney's office, we didn't go into detail. And I think just to indicate, we did meet with the LSSA together with other professions in terms of the impact on master's office. And I must agree with members where they make observation in terms of their visits. The capacity, I think Honorable Nombalo and Honorable Tlala as well, the capacity in terms of attorney's office and master's office, but also the reflection on legal aid is acknowledged. It is true in terms of the capacity, but more so that's why you hear the issue of litigation management is one of the issues that we are dealing with. For example, when we convened all the heads of the provinces, one of the issues that we had and sort of emphasized was, one, for them to meet with our biggest clients that will assist. And I think, DM, when you respond, please just deal with what the law reform has dealt with in terms of the medical claims and their proposals, because that work has been done. So in the litigation, we said litigation management, for example, our provincial heads must be such that they are able to have a meeting with those that are biggest in terms of litigation. We are definitely having, we've got scheduled meetings and we interact with the Minister of Police, but our biggest in terms of litigation, it varies from province to the other. Others, you'd find that it's in terms of health, others will be rough. DM as well, together with the DM of transport, held a meeting to look at the matters that relates to rough, and you can speak to that as well, so that you can understand that we've employed many strategies in terms of responding. Those will not be in the strategic plan and APP, because those are operational matters that we are perfecting the efficiencies and we are improving on the work that we are doing. And I think Honorable Nombalo raised the issue that there's been oversight and reports have not been responded. The officials might not respond on the spot because there are various areas, but what normally happens, Honorable Nombalo, is that the Speaker, after the adoption of the oversight report, will write to the Minister for the Minister to respond in detail on all the issues that the portfolio committee has been able to. I've checked with my team. I currently do not have an outstanding reports. Those that were outstanding, we have been able to submit. The minute we get those from the Speaker, as Parliament adopts those reports, we'll definitely respond in detail on those oversight. I do know that there's another portfolio committee that is scheduled to deal with some of the oversight that you have dealt with. For us to come and respond, both myself, I think, with the Minister of Public Works on infrastructure issues that is scheduled. So in those contexts, we'll be able to. And I want to emphasize, I thought the teacher will deal with this thing, the issue of insourcing. It's not every time where you are able to insource and get the right skills. And there's nothing wrong, colleagues, to be able to support SMMEs. What type of businesses are we wanting to see? Is it only because our people are good enough only to be employees, not service providers themselves? So it must be a balance. The issue of building Black industrialists, the issue of building Black businesses starts with government, where there are procurement programs where we should be able to build entrepreneurs as a country, as part of economic transformation of the country. So I do agree to a certain extent of what we must do in insourcing, but it's not 100% every time where it's good to say insource everything. We must be able to see as a country, being able to transform our economy and build sustainable Black businesses in our country. And the only mechanism to do that is through the state. And that's what I would want to emphasize. So when we discuss the issue of insourcing, we shouldn't just bemoan the issue of external service providers, because these are people that would have been deprived by the apartheid government to be businesses in this country. And this government has an obligation to be able to support them as entrepreneurs and also for them to grow. Where areas, for example, if it's in issues of insourcing where the budget allows, we should be able to insource, but it's not everywhere that we need to do that. And the issue, I think I've responded to what Honorable Kloppers and Swartz has dealt with around the delays in briefs by the department. So we sorting that out. Even myself and DM have committed that what we will do once the budget process is finished, we'll go and meet with the expos in provinces so that we can deal with the issue and present a litigation strategy to be able to respond. Honorable Mataf, I think your question is quite precise. The issue of while we have this 2 billion cuts that Honorable Swartz has made reference to, while we have this 2 billion cut, how do we ensure that we don't compromise the quality, we don't compromise the service, but ensure that access of justice becomes a reality? In terms of those in rural areas, those in previously disadvantaged communities, it remains a challenge for me as well. I was saying, for example, one of the things that we'll need to look at when we met with Legal Aid Board is to try and Legal Aid of South Africa is to try and change our strategy there. Perhaps maybe even, for example, we must be a commercial site that can support the developmental mandate. I said the team must look at it, whether it's possible, where in terms of state litigation, Legal Aid is appointed as legal representatives of the state. They are able to generate an income, and through that, they can be able to sustainably support the developmental part where our people are not able to support themselves in terms of litigation. So there are various mechanisms that we've got to look at, including in Master's Office. What we are looking at is to be able to find partners. We do not have the money, and what we are trying to do, we are engaging with, for example, Government Employee Pension Fund through JIPA, to see, because we are administering Guardian Fund on their behalf. And one of the issues DG was identified is that we have not been paid administrative fees. Are we able to utilize that as a mechanism to fund for our IT system at that platform? SARS as well says to us, we are interested in what you are doing there at Master's Office because it affects us. We think we can be able to support. So we're looking at various areas within the limited budget to be able to respond to the issues. And our commitment, I think some members asked about, I think it's Honorable Tsotetsi, that it will be important to give timeframes. Honorable Tsotetsi, the timeframes that we are giving and committing to the portfolio committee is this financial year. As we present our quarterly report, we'll come back and say this is the progress that we have made, and these are the issues. And perhaps even some of the advices. I always pay attention to what members have visited the issue of oversight, chairperson of the portfolio committee. It's quite important because it helps me as a minister where I've not been able to pick up what members have been able to address, so that if officials says to us and DM, these matters have been responded to, it's good. When you go there and say to us, actually, it's not the same, because we might not be there every time. So I want to appreciate that, Chairperson. And also the issue, I think we've responded to all the other issues. Gender-based violence, as I conclude, Chair, remains a pandemic in our country. We buried on Saturday one of our employees who was killed by another employee. So it does tell us that there's still a lot that needs to be done. Even from those that you believe are conscious about gender-based violence and femicide, we still see perpetrators amongst ourselves. So we'll have to up the game in terms of training, in terms of capacitation, in terms of awareness, but more so even in terms of in terms of the perpetrators being able to find sentences. We'll come later, Chair, to the Portfolio Committee to deal with the issue of the amendments of Criminal Procedure Act. We anticipating that we'll be able to table it within this financial year. because it's one of the critical areas. The Justice Cluster has told us that this is actually urgent. We have a retreat to finalize this because we need a mini workshop on it. And we do believe that once we table this and we are able to amend this legislation, it's one of those that is critical in responding not only to gender-based violence, but also to the crime in our country. So we commit, Chair, to consistently being able to be accountable here, to reporting, but also to doing things in a transparent manner that South Africans can be able to see. So I'd like to hand over back to, if DM can take over from here, Chair, if you allow, so that I can log into the NCOP and start preparing for my question answer session that starts now at 2:00. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. That's fine. That's fine. That's okay. I think you have covered a lot of ground. Before you come, DM, the hand of Honorable Breitenbach is up. Honorable Breitenbach. Honorable Breitenbach.
The legacy report hand, Chairperson.
Who's hand?
She's not there, Chair. Let's proceed.
Not there. This hand has been up like this all along. So let's not be delayed.
Okay, DM, can you do the parting shots?
Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Hold on, DM, hold on.
No, don't do the parting shots. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't
okay.
unmute and now I have.
Committee Secretary?
No, I just wanted to say that Honorable Breitenbach was struggling to unmute, but she seemed to be fine now.
Honorable Breitenbach?
Chair,
Can you
before
hear
they
me, Chair?
proceed, may I request to be excused?
Yes, you are excused, Minister. Thank you very much. You
Thank
would have
you.
indicated earlier that you are.
Can you hear me?
You are. Yes, we can hear you, Honorable Breitenbach,
Gosh,
now.
my battery's going flat. All I can say, Chair, is that I was adequately covered by my colleagues, but I found it quite disappointing that nobody in the meeting mentioned at the outset that Dr. Oliveira passed away on the 5th of June. He was a National Director of Public Prosecutions. He spent over 40 years in the NPA. And nobody at the Department of Justice nor the NPA has even acknowledged the fact that he has died. I find that very disappointing. Thank you.
You're saying who is that, Honorable Breitenbach?
Nothing. Sure, I would do ownership.